Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Same team as last time. Team Primal is fighting Team Paragon, and this map is Nepal. This is a King of the Hill map, unlike most of the other maps we've looked at, which were mostly payload, or a payload control point variant. This map is going to be best of 3, and it looks like the first Nepal map is the one which is in a square courtyard. I'm not actually sure what it's called, but this one is pretty interesting. It has a pitfall to the side. Be interesting to see if that comes in. Team Primal is moving a little bit slower than Team Paragon, and Team Paragon does manage to take control of the point territorially before Team Primal is able to get in there, though neither team in particular is winning this mid-fight, and I'm seeing a lot of flanking and a lot of characters bunched up on the control point from Team Paragon's side, and the control point is now open. Somebody's going to be able to capture it. Neither side is having a very easy time of that at the moment. It is pretty much 50-50 on being able to capture this control point. And Team Primal has managed to push Team Paragon off the control point and capture it. Very good. I think what happened there, I think Team Paragon just split themselves up a little bit too much. Is that That is a Lucio hiding in the back over there. Team Paragon looks like they're going to be flanking around the side almost in its entirety. All of Team Paragon is electing to push around this side here, and Team Primal is holding on to the control point itself. A well-timed Lucio ult giving his team the advantage in this coming fight. Every second that they are able to hold on to the control point, they're that much closer to winning the first of 3, potentially 2 maps. Team Paragon is, for the most part, locked into this little room over here. I'm sure they'd like to push out, but none of them have Uber at the moment except their deceased medic, Mercy, which is not going to do them much help. And Team Primal almost completely wiped them on that one. They are going to be respawning. Mercy is going to be holding back for Team Paragon and waiting for her team to respawn, and that was pretty much a complete success on the part of Team Primal. Not only do they have control of the point right now, they have, I was going to say they have Uber advantage, but a couple of ults just got popped. A lot of ults just got popped at the moment. Team Paragon is definitely putting it in the second gear in the attempt to capture this control point. They were not totally successful, but their Mercy was able to bring them to life and give them another chance. And I believe they should be able to take the control point off of that. And the control point now goes to Team Primal, but Team Paragon, but Team Primal is able to put 81% of 99% on the clock. So they definitely have plenty of time to push in there and capture it, but as they respawn, the clock is ticking. There are also ults prepared. Reaper and Roadhog both have their ults ready on Team Paragon's side, meaning that this is going to be a very difficult push for Team Primal. Team Primal is nevertheless managing to push in there. I see that they were able to kill Zarya. They won't find the free ult. And Team Paragon is, for the most part, pushing them off. Didn't even use Reaper's Death Flower. He's holding on to that for the next push, and that was a pretty successful defense on the point of view of Team Paragon. And I noticed that Team Primal is a lot more interested in pushing through this middle corridor. You notice that when they didn't have the control point, Team Paragon tried to push in around the side, but Team Primal is really just pushing right through the middle. Just as I say that, they decide to switch tactics and push around the side. See if it pans out for them. They are going to have to deal with a death. Oh, the Death Flower was popped and countered by a well-timed Lucio ult. But I don't think they're getting the kills fast enough. There are just so many red defenders, especially now that Mercy just brought Roadhog back to life. Wow, I am very surprised. There were a lot of attacks done by Team Primal and a lot of damage laid out, but it looks like, for the most part, Red is going to be able to hold that. Looks like it's about a 3-on-3 right at the moment, with a couple of deaths happening on both sides. Team Paragon is doing a very good job keeping at least one person on the point, though it looks like Team Primal should be able to capture the point a little slowly. Only Pharah and now Tracer and Zarya on the point, and the point does return to Team Primal. Their opponent, Team Paragon, was at 97%, so Team Primal is I mean, they're going to catch up to that really soon, and this is definitely the place to be, in control of the point when the percentages are in the high 90s. I have a feeling this game is going to go into overtime. Both teams showing that they are very good at holding a point once they've captured it. And that is victory right there. The first match will go to Team Primal. I can go through this door. It is a learning experience every time I'm on a new map, finding out what the spectator camera is allowed to travel through and what they aren't. So this upcoming map
76 reporting
is a very vertical map. You're probably going to see a lot of three-dimensional fights happening from flankers and high mobility classes attacking from up here. So we should be seeing a pretty intense mid-fight soon. Both teams are on the way. Let's see who gets to the middle point first. Definitely first place goes to Crash as Tracer on Team Primal, jumping into the control point. Both teams elected to flank around the side and attack up in this Paragon over here. And it looks like for the most part, Team Paragon has pushed Team Primal off the control point itself. Control point unlocks now, and I believe Team Paragon should have time to capture it, though Team Primal is definitely going to be able to push in there fast. Crash is flanking around the back as Tracer, hopefully going to get some work done there. Team Primal is pushing into the control point, and they are going to counter-capture. No, they got off the point. There we go. They have captured the point and are now racking up their first percentages. Crash is definitely very far ahead. She can afford to do that as Tracer with her time warp abilities. Team Paragon looks like they're electing to funnel through the back doors up there. Looks like they're going a little bit slow, waiting for their teammates to catch up to each other. Team Primal holding down near the control point. Some teams elect to take the second floor, but Team Primal looks like they're satisfied with staying down
Heroes
there.
never die for a price.
A good revive coming from Mercy, bringing her teammates back to life just in time for a Zarya ult. Though that Zarya ult could definitely have been better used. I feel like Zarya ults are usually best when you combo them with some high damage dealing ult, because you know your opponents can't dodge, like a Reaper Deathflower, a Hanzo Dragon, or a Reinhardt. But it did still pay out for them, and they were able to continue holding the point. They are at 50%. They only need to hold the point for this long again to win not just this match, but the entire game. Team Paragon is definitely feeling the pressure at this point. They need to win this in order to stay in this matchup in its entirety, and they were able to kill the opposing three, and it looks like we are having the push. It is being countered immediately by a Lucio ult and a Pharaoh. Lots of ults going on, not very successful, and it looks like for the most part Team Paragon is going to be able to get in there and capture that control point.
Enemy contact.
There were some good ults coming from Team Primal. I just think that they might not have been aimed particularly well, and there also just was not enough support for them, because a Pharah ult and a Lucio ult, both of them require a lot of teammates around for protection, and I just don't think they had that. But Team Primal does have time to push in. They have managed to put some capture time on the clock, though they are going to have to deal with a sound barrier. A lot of infighting going on in the control point right now. Probably advantage red at the moment from what I can tell. Though they are slowly, they're keeping the percentage that they've managed to capture up, and with both teams not having a Symmetra, every kill counts, and both teams pretty much trading kills right there. Though looks like Team Paragon's Mercy completely changed the dynamics by reviving her team just in time, and it looks like they were able to successfully push the opposing team back, and they're going to continue to hold the point, which means they are almost certainly going to equalize this game at 73%.
Keep your heads down.
Team Primal is about to fight an uphill battle to capture this control point, though they can definitely afford to do so, as they are currently the only team with a match win on the board. And they look ready to push in again. Looks like they're going for a completely straightforward 6-player push right through the
Fire at
front.
will!
Leading with Lucio. Lucio's counter was able to, Lucio's ult was able to pretty effectively counter Zarya's ult, but not Winston's. And Team Paragon was able to capture and hold the control point to 99%. We are going into a map 3, one-on-one. The winner of this map is going to, the winner of this map is going to win the entire match. And the control point is a very interesting one. This particular control point has a bottomless pit right next to it. Plenty of people are probably going to lose their lives down there. And let's follow one team as they approach the control point. Let's start with Team
Soldier
Paragon.
76 reporting for duty.
Team Paragon appears to be using 2 tanks, 2 supports, 2 offense with the same. So both of them using a very cookie-cutter setup for King of the Hill. Not a lot of need for defensive characters before you capture the point. So both teams elect for flanking, but they flank in different directions. So both teams going ring around the control point and meeting head-to-head in the middle. A lot of long-range spam going on here. I see that the Pharahs are having a fun aerial battle. And it looks like the control point is open and Team Primal is faster at getting on there. Though they are not going to have an easy cap. Team Paragon is still alive, well, and not interested in losing this mid-fight. And, oh wow. Momentum has definitely shifted to Team Paragon, managing to capture the control point and have enough time to push forward. They do not want to fight on the control point itself. Looks like they're going to try to keep Team Primal from pushing through here and into the map itself. And for the most part, Team Primal is... Oh, here we go. Team Primal's push now happening. Heading in for the control point. Relatively successful push, but you know, when it comes to having to capture the control point from your opponent, a tie goes to the defense. So for the most part, it was a relatively decent push, and both teams are really, I don't actually see that many deaths happening. I see most people, Team Primal tends to be retreating back into this area before they can really die, but I mean, that still just means that they aren't getting any capture time on that clock, which is now at 50%. Team Paragon is 50% of the way there to winning the entire match. And a Lucio ult designed to counter this ulting Winston. I don't think it was that successful, and there are a lot of ultimates on Team Primal's side. Though 2 of their characters that have ultimate just died, but they did manage to get some. They are getting some capture points on the control point, and their teammates are pushing in, and it looks like the control point is switching over to Team Primal.
Natural selection.
Team Primal now owns the control point and is, just like their opponents did to them, trying to lay some suppressing fire to keep them from pushing in. This is definitely a relatively easy control point to hold onto, and it's very easy to push forward and prevent the opposing team from even making it to the control point and contesting it. Though Team Paragon is electing to push in. Looks like they have a bunch of ults ready, but are not using them as of yet, which could spell a large shift in the narrative at the moment. They're pretty much fighting it to a standstill, albeit one on the control point itself. They are halfway towards capturing the control point, and they have the control point. And they're at 75% with control point. Things are looking pretty good for Team Paragon there. Team Primal needing to regroup. They are feeling the pressure. It is definitely a uphill battle at the moment, but it would not be too difficult when they have, wow, they have 4 ultimates. Both teams have 4 ultimates. We're probably going to be seeing a lot of particle effects at the moment. And that was a pretty good wipe from Nuna as Pharah, eliminating 3 of their teammates and pushing the map into overtime. And ulting Winston, the only reason the game isn't over yet. And something horrifying happened behind me. And Lucio ult, managing to keep the control point on the side of Team Paragon. Team Primal has pushed in the control point, and they have, for the moment, numerical advantage, but an entire wave of defenders are about to push into the control point, and Paragon's Lucio just won't die, especially when he comes back to life from a Mercy ult, and a Zarya ult manages to almost completely wipe the defense and capture the control point. They are going to have to hold this control point for 60%. And you get a percent a second from what I can tell, so it looks like they are going to try to hold the control point. They're being very aggressive, pushing in, making sure that it's not easy for their enemies to get capture time on the control point, but Team Paragon is aware that all they have to do is capture the control point and they win. But for the most part, Team Primal is mostly holding them back. I see that Tracer has crashed, managed to get a kill. Neither team are really trading kills at the moment. Everybody is staying alive due to some excellent heals from both teams. A Gojiro as Lucio ult, giving his team the advantage in this fight, and they've reached 77%. They need to hold the control point for 20 more percentage points, and they are pushing in. Both teams are trading kills. A couple of teammates were brought back to life by Team Paragon, and they're pushing on the control point. And there is nobody on the control point to contest them. If they capture this control point, it is almost all over. Crash doing her best to delay the capture as long as conceivably possible and give her team some time to get on the control point. Both teams at 99%. If blue team has Team Primal can get in there, they can capture the point. But it is not looking too great. Both teams are definitely giving it their all there. There are a lot of kills. Lickitung as Farah pushing the enemy team off the control point, giving her team a chance to get in there and capture it. Timed with a Zarya ult, pushing the opposing team off. And the control point goes to Team Primal. We are in overtime again, this time for the opposing team. A identical Farah ult serving pretty successful, but I don't think there are any teammates to get on the control point, and that win will go to Team Primal, who takes the map and the entire match. Very tight game from both teams.
Play of the game. Heroes never die for a price.
Very good triple revive there by Mercy, bringing her team back from the brink of losing the control point and keeping up. I'm not sure if we're going to play King of the Hill a second time, since traditionally maps are played twice, though usually that's because there's one offense and one defense. We might be done with that map.